intelligent people.
Struggling and daring.
Come home to TV 11.
Hear the future on compact discs. See the future on laser vision discs. From a single machine, Pioneer's new CD laser vision player. Not evolutionary, revolutionary.
When intelligent individuals have a chance to win $100,000, it changes their behavior. Don't miss the $100,000 Pyramid tonight at 6:30 on TV 11.
Now, the Twin Cities' fastest growing television news. News 11 with Paul Majors, Kirsten Lindquist, Jeff Passelt on sports, and meteorologist Paul Douglas.
Good afternoon. Topping News 11 at 5. It's Election Day here in Minnesota.
It's been a steady stream of voters at polling places throughout the state since early this morning. And the result, poll watchers are predicting a larger than expected turnout.
About 1 million Minnesotans are expected to go to the polls today, but that's still only a little over half the eligible voters in the state. Early predictions were for a low-interest, low voter turnout today, but good weather and a surprising burst of voter interest has some poll watchers predicting a 60% turnout by 8 o'clock tonight when the polls close. Steady to heavy turnout has been reported throughout the state today. In northern Minnesota, where interest is high, Iron Range voters turned out in good numbers. A steady turnout is also reported in Austin, Brainerd, and here in the Twin Cities as well.
News 11 election teams are out in force tonight. Melissa Young joins us now from DFL headquarters in downtown Minneapolis.
Melissa, I know it's a little early, but is there any mood down there of excitement building?
Well, I don't know. I can tell you it's quiet, but the balloons are in place and the signs are in place. So if that's any indication, I guess there is some anticipation of the excitement yet to come. We're still about 2 hours away from people actually arriving here. This is DFL headquarters, and they're hoping they're going to have a bit of a celebration here later this evening. Besides congressional office holders and state office holders, the governor will be making an appearance about 9 o'clock tonight. But he won't be here very long. He'll be taking off to the state capitol and then heading up to the range for a series of what he hopes will be victory parties. Now, we will be here throughout the evening to keep you up to date on what's going on down here at the Radisson Metrodome. Back to you.
All right, Melissa.
Thank you.
It'll be exciting down there, you know.
Sure will be.
Yeah.
Well, Joan Steffen is with the News 11 election crew at IR headquarters in Bloomington. Joan, what's happening down there right now?
Well, I'll tell you, Paul and Kirsten, right now we have a few campaign workers and a lot of media types hanging around. The actual party doesn't get started until about 8, and the candidate is expected first appearance at about 8:45. But his day started much earlier than that. He cast his vote in his near his hometown of Tracy, Minnesota this morning. A relaxed Cal Ludeman cast his ballot in a rural clapboard town hall with his wife Debbie at his side. He seemed to be in good spirits. When asked who he voted for, he said, "I voted for the best guys on every ballot." And once outside, the candidate remained optimistic about his chances despite the polls and the pollsters.
Reports that they think that every incumbent governor across the nation is going to win re-election. If there's a chance, if there's a place where the opposite can be true, I would think it'd be Minnesota.
And with that, Cal Ludeman said he had no regrets about how he ran his campaign, although he might have started earlier to define the differences between himself and Governor Perpich. He will be here later tonight, glad-handing with campaigners and watching the returns. We'll be here with him. Now back to you, Paul and Kirsten.
We'll be checking back with you, Joan.
Okay.
Thank you. All across the country today, voters are going to the polls. The Democrats hope to regain control of the U.S. Senate, but Republicans stand a good chance of making gains in the number of Senate governors' seats won today. There are 36 governorships up for grabs today. 27 of those are now held by Democrats. 9 are held by Republicans. But tonight's Senate races are considered the most crucial. Presently, Republicans control the United States Senate, but tonight we're watching 34 separate Senate races, and if the Democrats can win just 4 of those seats and re-elect their incumbents, as expected, they will control the U.S. Senate again for the first time in 6 years.
For the past 17 months, the president has been crisscrossing the country, barnstorming for Republican candidates, working to keep Republican control of the Senate. But tonight, as Washington Bureau reporter Ron Talley tells us, a presidential appearance may be exciting, but voters say they'll make up their own minds.
I'm here today to ask you to do me a personal favor. For Oklahoma's sake, for America's sake, please do everything you can to re-elect Don Nickles to the United States Senate.
Keep
Keeping control of the Senate is so important to the president, he's logged over 25,000 miles since Labor Day, stumping for GOP candidates who support his economic agenda and military game plan.
You know, my name will never appear on a ballot again, but if you'd like to vote for me one more time, you can do so by voting for Matt Mattingly.
For President Reagan, a Mattingly win in Georgia, a McCain out of Arizona, a Kramer from Colorado could mean the difference between continuing his own powerful policymaking or watching 6 years of work go up in smoke. You see, the real power in Congress comes from committee chairmanships, and if Democrats gain control of the Senate, the Gippers' game plan could be ripped to shreds.
In the event of a nuclear attack,
the president's Star Wars defense system, for example, and other key Pentagon programs would come under attack as Democrat Sam Nunn of Georgia becomes chairman of the Armed Services Committee instead of Arizona Senator Goldwater or another friendly GOP conservative. Aid to the Contra freedom fighters might wither away as well, with a Democrat in charge of foreign relations. Also, tough trade restrictions to help the ailing textile, copper, and oil industries, vetoed by the president, could resurface if Texas Democrat Lloyd Benson takes over the Senate Finance Committee. And with liberal senators like Kennedy of Massachusetts or Biden of Delaware taking over Judiciary, Labor, and Human Services committees, Senate confirmation of White House appointees like Chief Justice Rehnquist might become next to impossible. But even if Republicans do lose control of the Senate, there are a handful of Southern Democrats who often side with them. And by the way, don't forget the president's uncanny power to take the big issues to the public. Ron Talley, News 11, the Washington Bureau.
The two major parties have spent more than $300 million on campaigning this year, and that's a record for a non-presidential election year.
And if you still have questions about where to vote and how to get there, we have some telephone numbers for you. If you live in Minneapolis, call 348-2070. Outside the city limits, the number is 348-5151. In St. Paul, the number to call 298-4012. Outside St. Paul or anywhere in Ramsey County, the number is 296-3266. These phones will be staffed until 8 o'clock tonight.
And as we told you a bit earlier, the good weather today is helping voter turnout. I suppose we should thank Paul Douglas for that. I don't think he's at Ludeman headquarters. You're still out in the backyard. Of course, you are nonpartisan. We all support you.
That's right, Paul. The weather sure did cooperate with the stroll down to the poll this afternoon. Are you quite finished?
Yeah, we can hear that.
That was a DC-9. Have a safe journey. All sorts of things going on out here in the backyard, Paul, in addition to folks voting. The weather, it's going to sour a little bit tomorrow. Temperatures, though, up around 50. And then it's going to cool off late in the week, and there are some indications we could be heading into a much stormier, even snowier weather pattern by Sunday or Monday of next week. In the meantime, here's our weather trivia quiz question for the day. You would most likely find a rotor cloud near which of the following? Only one answer. Near a severe thunderstorm, near a jet aircraft above 30,000 feet. A rotor cloud would be found near a volcanic eruption, or D, a mountain range. Place your bets. We'll have an answer in 20. A couple of things we want to check. It was cold last night. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. Teens just to the north of the city. 0 International Falls this morning. Under bright sunshine, it did warm up nicely this afternoon. 40s across much of the upper Midwest. A tantalizing tongue of 50s now pushing eastward across the plains. And I think there's a good chance we could see low 50s. 83 this afternoon, downtown San Francisco. Now, it is cool to the north. Temperatures close to freezing, 34 Thief River, International Falls. And there is a potential for a little bit of wet snow, possibly as much as an inch of slushy snow from Thief River to the North Shore. A few icy spots as far south as Brainerd, Bemidji, and Duluth. No problems, though, across most of 11 country. The 11 outlook tonight does call for increasing cloudiness. Again, that mixture of rain and wet snow over extreme northern Minnesota. A low by morning of 28 to 33 degrees. Still time to get out and vote, and the weather sure is going to be cooperative over the next couple of hours across most of the state. Paul and Kirsten?
All right, we'll catch you a little bit later.
Okie doke.
A new Gannett poll out today shows that we take our elections and our candidates very seriously indeed. In the past 5 years, 28% of us contributed money to a candidate, 36% attended a campaign rally, and 27% said yes, they even wore a campaign button. Now, another interesting finding in that poll, when asked if we tell our husbands or wives how we voted, 25% of the men and something like a third of the women said never.
Good way to keep the peace at home.
Probably. I always tell my wife.
Do you?
Yeah, she tells me. Then we fist fight. Yeah, you're right.
I keep still.
Good. When we come back, an American hostage is reunited with a family he hasn't seen in more than a year.
But first, if you need a ride to the polls tonight, here's where to call.
White Castle double cheeseburger. Make the double cheeseburger, it's second to none. 2 beef patties with zesty onion, crisp dill pickle on an oven baked bun. Simply delicious.
New confidence. New confidence sure. Curved. Curved comfort. Curved comfortable sure. Wide solid. New wide solid sure. Curved. Dry. Confident. Sure. New sure wide solid. One more solid way to feel sure.
Too often these days, the supermarket express lane becomes the supermarket waiting lane. To save a little money, you spend a lot of time. At Tom Thumb, you don't have to pay high prices, and you don't have to wait in line. So the next time you need a few things, go to Tom Thumb, where you don't have to spend a lot of money to save a lot of time.
Custom roast butternut coffee, just $4.39 for a 23-ounce can at Tom Thumb.
Accident and insurance laws are complex, and if you've been injured in an accident, you're smart to put yourself in the care of a law firm like Schwabel, Getz, and Sieben. We'll help ensure you receive acceptable compensation for your injuries, medical care, and property damages. Does it cost more to hire a lawyer from Schwabel, Getz, and Sieben? No. In fact, there's no fee until your case is settled. For a complete recovery, call the law firm of Schwabel, Getz, and Sieben.
We have this just in from the newsroom. A helicopter has crashed into the Sherco 3 power plant this afternoon in Sherburne County, northwest of the Twin Cities. Reports from the scene indicate one person was killed, but that report is not confirmed. News 11 has a crew on the way to the scene, and we hope to have a little more information for you a little later in the newscast.
The National Guard search continues this afternoon in Aitkin for a missing Twin Cities teenager. 17-year-old Noel Deluge of Maplewood became separated from his hunting party on Saturday. The National Guard says it plans to continue today's search through sundown. The search is centered around the Rice Lake National Wildlife Refuge.
No charges have been filed yet in connection with the stabbing and shooting death of a Minneapolis woman. Charles Francis Bradley was arrested yesterday after investigators followed a trail of blood to a nursing home on Aldrich Avenue and found the body of Laura Majors. Charges are expected to be filed before noon tomorrow. This is the 45th reported homicide in Minneapolis this year. In St. Paul today, police charged 4 men, 2 adults and 2 juveniles with a gang rape of a 17-year-old woman. Police say the woman was threatened with a machete during the attack Sunday night and was told she'd be killed if she reported the incident. Tonight, Tony Anthony Cotton and Michelangelo Andrews remain behind bars, as do the 2 juveniles whose names will not be released. A hearing is set for next week.
Captured American flyer Eugene Hassenfuss was back in court today listening as Nicaraguan government prosecutors played a videotape of a 60 Minutes interview where Hassenfuss admitted running guns to American Contras in Nicaragua. Hassenfuss's attorney Griffin Bell says he'll ask the court for mercy today before the court convicts his client. Hassenfuss could be sentenced to up to 30 years in a Nicaraguan prison. The newest ex-hostage, David Jacobson, was reunited with his children this morning at an American military hospital in Wiesbaden, West Germany. He joked with reporters, saying he's broke, he's unemployed, he needs a job, but he's very happy.
I want to tell you that this is a day of great love. Family, some tremendous people, and I, as a father, have the greatest joy saying to the world that he's got the finest 6 children in the world. Plus, I'm actually too damn young to be a grandfather, which I'm going to be very shortly. Thank God I'm happy.
The family plans to leave for home in California late today or tomorrow. Still to come on News 11, harvest time on News 11 Acres.
The corn is in, but what kind of cash crop did it turn out to be? A report from Ken Speak when we come right back.
Have you ever wanted to get away with a really great deal? Well, now you can, because at Best Buy Superstores, you'll find real steals on all kinds of name brand stereos, TVs, appliances, and cameras. Like this incredible 27-inch Sony Trinitron with a flat square screen and stereo sound. It's just one of the real steals available this week at Best Buy, where the prices are so low, it's almost criminal.
Honest, officer, I bought it at Best Buy.
Do-it-yourselfers, hurry to Hirschfield's and save 20%. Decorate your favorite room with handsome hardwood wainscoting. Easy-to-install panels are ready to finish and add beauty and warmth to any room. Finish the project with fine wood stains from Creative in a variety of colors from mahogany to American walnut to country oak. These and many more fine products now 20% off during the Do-It-Yourself sale at Hirschfield's.
If you're looking for ways to fight saturated fat in your family's diet, even in cooking oil, here's the oil that leads the fight. New Puritan. So improved, it has 50% less saturated fat than other leading oils. For me, New Puritan is good news. Look.
When frozen, more of another leading oil is trapped, mainly because it has more saturated fat. New Puritan poured through, mainly because it has 50% less.
When you're fighting saturated fat and cholesterol, try New Puritan, the oil that leads the fight.
The front-wheel drive Dodge Lancer is the performance sedan that will thrill you all the way to the red line, hold you to the dotted line, cover you down the line, and impress you with its bottom line. Dodge Lancer, with prices starting at $98.52, setting new standards of performance.
An out-of-court settlement has been reached in a fatal boating accident that happened during a wedding on Lake Minnetonka 2 years ago. 2 people were killed and 5 others injured when the wedding boat collided with another in August of 1984. The families of the victims will receive $137,000 from an insurance company. The bride and groom, also injured in the accident, will receive $60,000.
From the update desk, a man in Wisconsin pleads guilty to leaving the scene of an accident at the Minnesota State Fair.
Amy Powell is in the newsroom with more on the case. Amy?
I think it's Janet Mason in this case.
Paul, Kirsten Thomas Voles has pleaded guilty to leaving the scene of an accident. The incident happened on August 25th when Voles drove his pickup truck and trailer through a gate on the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. A security guard was seriously injured during the incident. Sentencing for Voles is set for December 10th. Burial services were held for a North Dakota State University cheerleader today. Janice Thompson was buried in Minot, North Dakota. Thompson died from injuries suffered during a freak cheerleading accident last Thursday. Her heart and lungs were donated to a dying woman also from the Fargo-Moorhead area who's now at the University of Minnesota hospitals. The recipient, 34-year-old Dolores Selden, is reported in critical but stable condition this afternoon. Selden received her new heart and lung Saturday, making her the first woman to undergo the operation. Doctors at the hospital say she's recuperating nicely. At News 11 Acres, this just in. At News 11 Acres, we're growing corn this summer, a kind of demonstration project to chart the course of raising a crop. And now it's harvest time at News 11 Acres, and time for reporter Ken Speak to do the harvesting.
It was time. The corn was ready. This was the day News 11 Acres would get harvested. But first, another measurement. Stan Vanderkoy of the Wright Vocational Center ran his brand spanking new measuring wheel along the length and width of News 11 Acres to verify the size of the demonstration plot. And indeed, what started out as News 11 Acres was not really 11 acres.
Right now there's 10.11 acres.
Yep, 10.11 acres. The nearest we can figure it, when Greg Lefebvre measured the whole thing up for us last April, nobody put any stakes in to mark the corners of our field. And when landlord Kent Mutterer started the field work in early May, he disked that portion of the field that had been plowed last fall, 10.11 acres, which immediately increases our cost per acre by $14.52. But the corn was coming out of the field, and that Case International Harvester 1640 axial flow combine that landlord Mutterer had rented for the project was working just fine. Mutterer had planned to use his own combine, but it had a bad clutch. Gave him something to think about.
It's going to cost me at least a minimum of $2,000 to get mine fixed.
But News 11 Acres was being combined. The ears of corn quiet one moment, the next snatched off the stalk and augured up into the shelled corn tank. And finally, News 11 Acres was finished. The crop was ready to go to market. The question of how we did would be answered the next day when we took our corn to the elevator. Ken Speak on News 11 Acres.
Tomorrow, it's off to market as we try to get a good price on all that corn. And we have more information on that helicopter crash in Sherburne County. NSP authorities say it was a construction helicopter which crashed at its Sherco 3 plant just before 5 this afternoon. Witnesses say the chopper appeared to run out of fuel just before the accident. The pilot was killed. We hope to have more information on News 11 at 6. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Janet. Well, NFL football on ABC won the overnight ratings. 31% of the audience watched. The Rams walloped the Chicago Bears. On CBS last night, Cagney and Lacey, My Sister Sam, took the number 2 slot with a 24 share, while part 2 of NBC's miniseries Rage of Angels came in third with a 22 share.
All right. Time for Jeff Passel to sports. And what do you have today? You've been very
You look
secret
like,
about
well,
this.
no, not real secret. You look like a guy who enjoys to go out and have a good lunch every now and then. Boy, do you ever look. Kirsten,
That's
you,
nice.
it's nice.
Smorgasbords.
No, it's nice to get out, relax, have a nice, relaxing lunch, and then get back to work and go hard like I do every day. Right? A lot of places in downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul, for that matter, to go for lunch. But wait until you see where a few of the strikers spent their lunch hour today. It isn't exactly what you would call the high-rent district, but for Paulette Buscella, it's home. Paulette is living on this billboard at 7th and Park in downtown Minneapolis until she sells 1,000 ticket packages for the Minnesota Strikers. And today, she had company over. Striker players Alan Willie, Thompson Usean, and David Byrne.
Did you order us lunch?
It wasn't long before the players headed up the ladder to Paulette's place. And wouldn't you know it, just as everyone got settled in, there were some late arrivals, including striker goaltender Tino Lettieri.
Hey, I'll pay extra money just to leave you up there. Yeah, I would.
After some resistance, Tino joined the crowd, and it was time for Paulette to order the meal.
Yes, McDonald's, this is Paulette. A few of my closest player friends are over here for lunch, and we were wondering if you could come right over with lunch.
It was a little obvious the players weren't sold on the service, but Paulette is learning to love her new home.
My psychic came up this morning and gave me a reading, and she said I will be up here 7 3/4 days and that it's going to snow on me this weekend.
You think you can make it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a short period of time. I'm excited.
And the number to call is?
867-5747, 867-5747.
Please buy some tickets. Can't afford to be here any longer.
If for no other reason, give her a call. She's got to get down from that billboard. I was up there today. It's cold, and I'm going to repeat the number for you once more, 867-5747. Let's just get Paulette down off that billboard. If she doesn't have sense enough to come down, we're going to have to help her.
She can't be planning on living on Big Macs for 7 days.
McDonald's has been feeding her graciously over the last few days, and it looks like she's going to be there through the weekend.
You said Tino was a little afraid up there, huh?
Tino was holding on for dear life. He doesn't like heights, and he stands in front of that soccer ball going hundreds of miles an hour.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, all right.
Well, coming up next, Paul Douglas and the answer to our trivia question.
And here are today's birthdays.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Remember last winter? So does your car. Do yourself both a favor. Stock up now on dependable Durex antifreeze at Mills Fleet Farm. You can count on Durex antifreeze with Aluguard to give your car the utmost protection against cold weather freeze-ups.
Now at Fleet Farm, receive a $3 manufacturer's mail-in rebate when you buy a 6-gallon case of Durex. Your final cost is just $2.39 a gallon, or get a $9 rebate when you buy 3 cases. See Fleet Farm for details.
You can count on Durex antifreeze, and you can count on getting a great Durex price now at Mills Fleet Farm.
And what does this remind you of? A Pizza Hut Priazzo. And this?
A stuffed pie pizza!
It's new from Godfather's Pizza. Ooh, any way I want it. 3, 4, 5, 6 different kinds of cheeses.
Anytime I want it! Don't you see it?
Godfather's new stuffed pie pizza. What are you waiting for?
It's Wix Furniture's holiday sale. Save $600 on this elegant black lacquer 3-piece sectional sofa with brass trim, just $999.98. Save $300 on this 4-piece black polyester lacquer and brass bedroom set, only $1299.98. Save 50% on this 5-piece oak and smoked glass dinette set, just $199.98. Plus no payments or finance charges until February 1987 with a Wix charge. Unexpected quality, spectacular savings.
Wix, surprisingly Wix.
Time. Precious, private, quiet time. We hope you didn't waste it running from store to store looking for the right shoes, when all you had to do was come to us. Red Cross Shoe Shops. 100 styles, over 90 sizes, 4 very different famous brands, and that rare and wondrous thing called service.
We're going to join Paul Douglas in the backyard for one more look at the weather.
I just got off the phone with Paulette Psychic, and I think she's onto something. There may indeed be some wet snow or a cold rain developing by Sunday or Monday. It's looking kind of ominous for the weekend or early next week. The next couple of days don't look too shabby, though, meteorologically. Here's what's happening in the backyard right now. It's mostly clear. A temperature of 37, a south breeze puffing along at 9 miles an hour. The dew point 22, the humidity 54, the barometer 3015 and falling. We want to check Loop 11, the satellite sequence since breakfast time this morning. An ominous storm drifted off just to our south, grazing us with a few high clouds. And here comes another front, which could gum up the skies of extreme northern Minnesota with a little bit of wet snow and rain mixed. Maybe an inch up towards Thief River, International Falls, and Duluth. The latest weather map, you can see the big Arctic high that donated a beautiful election day weather-wise. Here comes that front. Most of the troubled weather will pass off to our north. And as winds turn around to the southwest tomorrow, it's going to warm up noticeably. I think there's a good chance we will be in the low 50s tomorrow afternoon. Again, a record 83 in San Francisco this afternoon, 65 in Dallas, and 72 in Atlanta. We want to show you where the precipitation is on Super Radar, a big blob of green to our south. This storm forecast to pass off to our south. This storm forecast to pass off to our north. But there are some indications that another storm way out in the Pacific is going to try to tap some Gulf moisture early next week and then maybe take a northeasterly track, a storm track that could be conducive to either rain or snow. It's going to be close. Tomorrow the map is going to show some patchy clouds, maybe a passing shower as that cool front comes through, and then it'll try to dry out a little bit Thursday and Friday. The 11 outlook for tonight, if you're heading out, fair this evening and then increasing clouds later on, 28 to 33. Tomorrow, not too bad, variable cloudiness and mild, slight chance of a passing shower, upper 40s and low 50s. Paul, Kirsten, what the heck is a rotor cloud? What do you think?
Well,
we've been debating A and B, right?
Yibbity, yibbity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never really heard you mention, though, rotor clouds with thunderstorms. So we were going to say a mountain range.
You were, it was on the tip of your tongue, right? I don't know if you've noticed in the Matterhorn series, there is this one pesky cloud that hangs right near the summit, just downwind of the summit. These are called rotor clouds. The turbulence within those rotor clouds can be severe. If an airplane gets caught in one, it can be ripped to shreds. Frequently, you see them just downwind of big mountain ranges.
Yeah, I remember that cloud.
Now you do, huh?
Thank you.
See you later.
Last night, pop singer Billy Joel wowed the fans at a sold-out concert at St. Paul Civic Center. With a new album, a hit single, and a new baby, Billy Joel is definitely on a roll.
The highlight of last night's concert came when the old piano man himself strapped on a Fender bass. He took center stage and showed the crowd at 37 he still knows how to rock and roll.
He does. So we're going to leave you tonight with that concert highlight. Billy Joel singing appropriately enough on this election day, Just a Matter of Trust. We'll see you back here at 6.
Have a good night.
Before you do another load of laundry, we'd like to make a suggestion. Ask your clothes what they prefer. They'll tell you a detergent that cleans in all temperatures. So we took temperature-sensitive cleaners for hot, warm, and cold, and combined them in new liquid cheer. One detergent that cleans like 3. So watch how new cheer gets clothes clean in hot, in warm, and even in cold. Your clothes ask for all temperatures. Isn't it good to know there's a liquid that listened? Introducing new Liquid Cheer, one detergent that cleans like 3.
I'm the first to leave my bed. Gotta get 'em dressed and fed. Give 'em all a little peck and some Citrus Hill Select. It's a healthy little potion, one that gets 'em all in motion. From the taste right to the vitamin C. Every single glass I pour has a day's supply and more. Citrus Hill Select gets their juices flowing, and their day gets going, and their juices get flowing. Citrus Hill Select is squeezed from the heart. That's where oranges are sweet, making vitamins a treat. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing. Citrus Hill Select gets your juices flowing.
Watch Magnum weekdays at 3, and you'll have a chance to win a January Hawaiian vacation and meet... Hi, Guy. Watch to win. Aloha.